Good morning, everybody. The time is 10:01. I'm going to call the June 26th, 2025 Planning Board meeting to order. Remotely, we have our Vice Chair Bailey.
Good
Ms.
morning.
Bailey, you can hear us good. We have Commissioner Giraldo here.
Good morning.
And I'm Chair Shapiro. Please note that the deadline for all participant pre-registration and for all submission of materials and exhibits was 12 noon on the Tuesday before this planning board meeting. And staff can assist with on-site registration or if you require any other assistance. We are going to take the order of cases as listed on the agenda. And we are going to start with a commissioner's item. Some sad news. We have a resolution of appreciation for a longtime planner who has decided to retire, Christine Osei. So she's a planner 3 with the countywide planning. I know, with the countywide planning division. She's retiring effective July 1st after 35 years of service. Her contributions are vast. A big part of what she's been working on is the mandatory referral program, developing the guidelines and the implementation projects and reviewing all sorts of federal, large and smaller projects, including the Suitland Federal Site and the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. She also has been a resource planner, project manager. She's had a number of other roles over many years. Just quite a contribution to the commission and to the county at large. So Christine, I want to thank you for being such a resourceful, such a well-organized, highly effective professional, and just a truly good person and a good friend. So thank you for all of your service. I don't think she's online, but we would wish Christine a very happy retirement. Colleagues, anything you want to add?
I would add that, I would add that I was always impressed with the way Ms. Osei was always prepared. And besides that, she's a wonderful person.
And Mr. Chair, I would also like to add that I really enjoyed working with with Christine, and she was always prepared, as Mr. Giraldo said, and I will miss her. She was always available for me when I had those outside questions trying to define different situations that we encountered on the planning board. I will certainly miss her. And I wish her well in retirement.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Thank you, Commissioner Giraldo. And again, Christine, best of luck to you. And colleagues, is there a motion for the resolution?
So move.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the resolution of appreciation for Christine Osei. With no discussion, I'll call the roll. Vice Chair Bailey.
Vote aye.
Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it, 3-0. Next, we have item 2 on our agenda. This is our draft minutes from June 12th. Is there a motion?
Move adoption of the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Giraldo, a second by Vice Chair Bailey. If there's no discussion, I will. Thank you. If there's no discussion, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Bailey.
Vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it, 3-0. We have our consent agenda. Is there anyone from the public or any of my colleagues who wish to oppose staff's recommendations for items on the consent agenda? Seeing nobody, is there a motion?
Yes. Mr. Chair, after consideration of the record for item numbers 4A, 4B, 4E through 4G, I move adoption of the staff findings and approval of the items on the consent agenda in accordance with the recommendation of staff.
Second.
Giraldo, is there also a 4D? I believe
it said 4E. No.
Never mind. D, perhaps. E through G.
I was provided with the new consent agenda this morning, and it reads 4A, 4B, 4E through 4G, but no D.
I also have a D, though, on my list.
Yeah, there is a D.
There is a D?
Yes.
Is that it? So the maker of the motion is fine?
That's fine.
Friendly amendment?
Friendly amendment.
And the seconder of the motion, or do we have a second yet?
I said second, Bailey.
Okay, so we have a motion, a second, and again, this is for A, B, D, E, F, and G. Thanks, everybody. And if there's no further discussion, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Bailey.
Vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it, 3-0. We'll now move on to our regular agenda items. First is item 5 on our agenda. This is a PAMC, Community Planning Division, program overview of 2 recently completed projects and also a request to release the FY25 PAMC program funds, conduct 3 new projects. Now excited to hear the updates, and welcome team, take it away. Morning, Mr. Sams.
Morning, Mr. Chair and members of the Planning Board. For the record, this is Dan Sams in the Community Planning Division, and I'm here with my colleague Connor Klein. Today, we will be giving a presentation on the Planning Assistance to Municipalities and Communities Program, or PAMC. Planning Board approved 4 fiscal year 25 projects in December 2024, and today we will provide an update on 3 recently completed projects and present 3 additional new projects for funding approval. Next slide, please. A longstanding program, PAMC was reinvigorated in 2018 with annual funding by the County Council. Over $2 million has been invested since then on 34 projects, many undertaken with consultant expertise. These short-term projects produce timely plans and studies for the subjects that municipalities, communities, and organizations are interested in most. Next slide, please. The variety of projects can be seen here. PAMC funding is available to 26 municipalities as well as unincorporated areas throughout the county, represented by community groups or civic business associations. The goal of the program is to help communities implement strategy recommendations from Plan 2035, approved master and sector plans, and other planning department studies. Next slide, please. 11 PAMC projects are currently underway. 3 were completed this year. Completed in February, the Town of Riverdale Parks Community Forest Management Plan assessed the conditions of trees and public rights-of-way within the municipal boundary, provides town staff with the tools and data to make informed decisions on protecting, maintaining, and expanding town's street tree inventory. Tree data were entered into the Prince George's County Department of Public Works and Transportation's Planet Geo Tree Plotter software. Findings of the tree inventory and condition assessments directly inform the Community Forest Management Plan. That includes a prioritized program for future tree care. Next slide, please. The Capitol Heights vacant lot strategy was completed in April. Approximately 10% of the total lots within the town are vacant. And over the years, the town establishes a definitive inventory, identifies existing regulatory, environmental, maintenance, and financial challenges, and provides goals and recommendations for maintaining, repurposing, and developing or redeveloping vacant lots. And finally, also completed in April, the Bowie State of Place project is a statistical, next slide, please, I'm so sorry. The Bowie State of Place project is a statistical analysis of 3 commercial areas in the city of Bowie. The Bowie Local Center, the Maryland 450 Corridor, and Old Town Bowie, which were identified in the 2022 approved Bowie, Mitchellville, and Vicinity Master Plan as having economic development potential. State of Place uses algorithms to quantify the economic value of urban design changes, provides recommendations to raise the economic development value of these areas, and estimates the increased economic value associated with implementing the urban design improvements. Only a few examples of ideal scenarios are shown in the report. The City of Bowie will continue to test scenarios to achieve their ideal roster of urban design changes needed. And next slide, please, and I will turn it over to Connor.
Moving on to new projects, initially requested by the City of College Park Writing Workshop.
Fine. Name for the record.
Oh, thank you so much. My name is Connor Klein.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. Moving on to new projects, as I said, initially requested by the City of College Park, a grant writing workshop is proposed to be offered to staff from 26 county municipalities. Based on guidance from potential attendees, the consultant will define specific training objectives and outcomes, design and conduct virtual training modules, and develop a detailed curriculum that covers grant identification, successful proposal writing, and grant management. The consultant will also create a comprehensive post-training package that includes both general grant writing guidelines and specialized sets of resources tailored to address issues or topics identified during the training. The package will serve as an essential summary and reference tool for participants. The proposed project cost is $28,350, and staff recommend releasing funds to undertake the project. And I believe we have Rahmel Rafi, the grants manager for College Park, online to speak in support of the application.
If it's okay, let's have folks speak as we go through each one, which I think what you're suggesting as well.
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Rafi, are you on the line?
Yes, hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Identify yourself. Yes, we can. If you could identify yourself for the record, and please, let's hear from you.
Sure, thank you. My name is Rahmel Rafi. I'm the Grants and Development Coordinator for the City of College Park's Planning Department. I am in support of the Municipal Grant Writing Workshop. I believe that it will help municipal staff and residents alike consolidate their resources into one neat package for skill development and identifying funding opportunities that are applicable to their communities. Templates for scopes of works or developing scopes of works if one hasn't before. Procurement processes, what they mean, what they do, and how to implement them appropriately for federal compliance, for example. That can be very tough. And an overall budget and timeline management strategies. I think that it would also allow these communities to organize organized by level of difficulties based off the funding opportunities so they can prepare well in advance for these grants. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rafi. Appreciate you taking the time, and it does sound like a great project.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If we can move to the next slide, please. Hyattsville has applied for a climate action plan that adapts and uses as necessary and appropriate the recommendations of the 2022 Prince George's County Draft Climate Action Plan. The Hyattsville plan would set sustainability and climate action goals for the city to meet, would organize and prioritize action steps to achieve the goals, and galvanize and unify stakeholders in shared sustainability practices. The project includes 2 greenhouse gas emissions inventories, an intensive door-to-door resident survey undertaken by students in the University of Maryland Saul Stern Civic Engagement Research Lab. The survey will be developed with Hyattsville environmental operations staff and will shed light on what sustainability issues concern residents most and what issues they wish to see addressed and participate in solving. The proposed cost is $153,438. Staff recommend releasing funds to undertake the project. For this project, I believe Priyanka Joshi with the City of Hyattsville is online to speak in support.
Okay. Ms. Joshi, are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Good morning, everyone. My name is Priyanka Joshi. I'm the Deputy Director of Public Works at City of Hyattsville, and I'm in support of this funding. On behalf of the City of Hyattsville and our vibrant and diverse community, I want to express the sincere gratitude for considering us for this vital grant opportunity. As a city, we're deeply committed to building a more sustainable and more climate-resistant community. Currently, we have a lot of ongoing projects, but this project will kind of bring all of our projects together in a more actionable way. And this grant will play a critical role in helping us with this next big step in developing an action plan. Again, I'm honored and I'm really excited for the possibility of working together with the team and putting action to our sustainable goals in a measurable way. So thank you once again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Joshi. Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If we can move to the next slide, please. Finally, lands with zones in Berwyn Heights conducive to development are found in the town's northwest corridors, Greenbelt Road to the north and Ballou Avenue to the west. The town of Berwyn Heights is seeking to examine these commercial corridors and analyze the local economic context, identify economic opportunities and resources, and collaborate with stakeholders to anticipate needs and opportunities created by the Beltway Plaza redevelopment and the potential FBI headquarters in Greenbelt. This project would analyze, interpret, and understand the current market and economic conditions of properties in these zones, develop a report that details the capacity of the study area for economic growth, and provide recommendations to approve upon and advance the interests of not only the town of Berwyn Heights, but those of the adjacent cities, College Park and Greenbelt. The proposed cost is $58,405, and staff recommend releasing funds to undertake the project. And I believe Kyle Snyder and Mayor Papanikolas are here on behalf of Berwyn Heights.
Okay, thank you. Madam Mayor, you're on the line. There you are.
Good morning. My name is Tiffany Papanikolas, Mayor of the town of Berwyn Heights. Thank you so much for allowing me to say a few words in support of this economic development assessment plan. Berwyn Heights is a small town with no real possibilities of physical growth beyond our current boundaries. Having said that, we'd like to ensure that our town continues to grow economically. This study is going to allow us to possibly tie into those projects that are happening or may happen near us in Greenbelt, College Park, Riverdale, increasing our community's ability to mold into a more vibrant commercial area and just a more vibrant community as the years go on. We're investing in all areas of our community at this point. We have construction going on, renovation of parks and public spaces, using pedestrian safety measures from our last PAMC project, doing public art, tree canopy restoration. But this is an area that we just simply don't have the ability to do on our own. And so we're hoping that you will fund this and allow us to re-energize and spur growth throughout that area. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Appreciate it. We also have Mr. Snyder.
Hey, thank you, Chair. My name's Kyle Snyder. I'm the town manager for the town of Berwyn Heights, and I just wanted to echo what the mayor covered. She hit a lot of it. Just want to reemphasize that we're a small town, so we do not have a dedicated economic development staff and teams such as some of our other surrounding municipalities. So it's important that we take advantage of these very beneficial PMC projects that they have to offer. But just echoing that we're hoping to work with the city's College Park and Greenbelt on this because it is a shared corridor of 193. And just wanted to thank the PAMC staff for their guidance and partnership on this and appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder, and thank you, Madam Mayor. And I really want to amplify and appreciate how much you are focused on collaboration and partnership with other municipalities as well as our team. So that is definitely helpful. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you to all those who came and testified today. If we can move to the next slide, please. In summary, staff recommends releasing.
Sorry, 1 second. We do have one more person signed up. I just want to make sure that there's quickly. Ms. Swicegood, are you here? Are you on the line?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
And do you want to speak to one of these projects? This is the right case you're looking at?
Yes, I did want to, first of all, I want to speak about Hyattsville. I'm a resident of Hyattsville. I do happen to be on the environmental committee, but I am absolutely speaking as an individual here. I just wanted to appreciate this program in general. I really saw how the climate action plan in Brentwood really galvanized a lot of action there. And that's really what excited, residents in Hyattsville about it. And we saw other communities using this. Our DPW is incredible. Our environment folks are incredible, but they just, this is a big undertaking. And to have that, not only the funding and kind of vetted consultants and ease that whole procurement process, but your staff that are, experts and can share information. So I just wanted to, again, please, I just wanted to support the request for Hyattsville and appreciate this program because it's really a great example of how you are, adding 1 and 1 and getting 3. You're really getting more by leveraging these expert resources and by helping with some of that consultant procurement and sharing information across communities. So thanks very much and have a great day.
Thank you. I'm glad you shared that. Appreciate the kind words. I could not agree with you more. And that's a big part of his testimony, his testament to the staff as well for doing a great job in this program. So, all right, now back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In summary, staff recommend releasing funds to conduct 3 additional new projects for fiscal year 2025. Next slide, please. Next, thank you. This concludes staff presentation.
Okay. All right. Thank you all very much. Colleagues, any questions for staff on these items?
I think they're wonderful items.
Okay, great. All right. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I would move approval for the approve the fiscal year 2025 request for project funding.
Madam Vice Chair, is there a second? Did we lose her? You may be muted, Dorothy.
She's muted, I think.
Well, we'll try it. We'll fund them next year. It'll be fine.
Can vote twice.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Not present.
You do, and I can second the motion
No.
because we don't have a second.
We don't have a quorum.
No, okay. So let's wait a sec. Let them do. Second a motion or make a motion. I don't think there's anything precluding a chair from doing it. We still don't have a quorum, but I don't know why I'm looking at you, Connor. But right. So, Connor, what do you think? Yeah. Dan, what do you think? Huh? Yeah. There we go. That's it. Assertively, he says yes. Folks, let's take a 5-minute recess, and you'll watch us figure this out as we figure it out. You guys hear no. Two, 4, 0, 1, 2.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Hello?
we hear you.
Yes.
Madam Vice Chair,
Hello,
we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay, great. Thank you. I can hear you. Yes.
All right. So where we left it is there was a motion by Commissioner Giraldo to support the funding for the PAMC program as recommended by staff. Do you second it, Madam Vice Chair?
Second the motion, yes.
Okay. And I neglected to say we're back from recess. Stating the obvious, we're back from recess. And we have a motion and a second with no discussion. I'll call the roll. Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Bailey.
Vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it, 3-0. Thank you, team.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're on item 6 on our agenda. This is preliminary plan of subdivision 4-24012 Sterling Care Hillhaven. This is an evidentiary hearing. As appropriate, I will swear folks in if needed. We have Mr. Antonetti, who is representing the applicant. Mr. Bartlett is giving a staff presentation, and we will turn it over to staff for the initial presentation.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, I'm Jason Bartlett with the subdivision section. Item number 6 on the agenda is a preliminary plan of subdivision for Sterling Care Hillhaven, case number 4-24012, which proposes 2 parcels for 118,020.
Mr. Bartlett, I don't think your mic is on.
Okay. Do you want me to start from the top?
Probably, yes.
Okay. Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. For the record, I'm Jason Bartlett with the subdivision section. Item number 6 on the agenda is the preliminary plan of subdivision for Sterling Care Hillhaven, case number 4-24012, which proposes 2 parcels for 118,027 square feet of institutional development, of which 94,282 square feet is existing. This application is further subject to an approved certificate of adequacy under case number ADQ-2024-018. Before I begin, and as a matter of housekeeping, one additional item of material was submitted prior to the noon deadline on June 24th, which is entered into the record as applicant's Exhibit 1. This exhibit is a letter and revised statement of justification from the applicant, wherein they explain an error in the calculation of the original proposed GFA from 118,027 square feet to 120,092 square feet, as submitted with the companion special exception under case number SE-24003. However, staff note that this difference of 2,065 square feet does not impact the analysis provided with this PPS and acknowledge the error as explained by the applicant. In conclusion, subdivision staff recommend that the planning board adopt the findings and approve PPS 4-24012 Sterling Care Hillhaven and Type 1 Tree Conservation Plan TCP 1-005-2025, subject to the conditions contained in this technical staff report. This concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Bartlett. Much appreciated. Colleagues, if there are questions for staff, we'll turn to the applicant. We have Mr. Antonetti, who's joining us virtually.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the Planning Board. For the record, my name is Robert Antonetti with the law firm of Shipley and Horn. Today with me as Mr. Andrew Rout, Mr. Andrew Shelley, our senior land planner with Shipley and Horn. And together we're pleased to represent the applicant Hillhaven SNF Realty LLC for this preliminary plan of subdivision. Today we also have virtually Mr. Jeff Kagan, representative of the applicant. We have Mr. Aaron Campbell of AMT Civil Engineers, Mr. Michael Lenhart, and Mr. Vipul Talwar, architect with Michael Graves. I do want to thank Mr. Bartlett for his presentation and his review. As usual, he is a consummate professional, fantastic to interact with throughout the review of these cases, and it's a pleasure to be able to continue to work with him. As you heard, this application is simply an application to create the the proposed 2 lots for the development to support the expansion of this existing nursing and care home. The nursing and care home has a very long history, which I won't fully get into, but it has obtained numerous special exceptions over the years, including a special exception initially in 1961, one in 1968, one in 1984, well, the most recent one in 1997. And there is also a pending special exception to further accommodate the expansion that's requested here today. The expansion will essentially add 36 beds to this facility. As you can imagine, the need for growth here and the need to service the needs and healthcare needs of the community, especially the aging population in the county, is very, very important. I'm also pleased to note that the 36 rooms that this preliminary plan, the additional 36 rooms this preliminary plan will support, will largely be single occupancy skilled nursing beds. That's very important as since the COVID pandemic in particular, having the ability to have individual rooms, a greater amount of them in the inventory for this facility and within the county is proven to be very, very important. So we're excited about the opportunity to deliver on this expansion. There is a pending special exception, as mentioned, to accommodate the expansion here. And you will be hearing a staff report later on in a later agenda for that, and hopefully you will support that as well. Just quickly, in terms of the square footage, there was in the statement of justification a minor error. The square footage or gross floor area is actually proposed here 120,092 square feet, as Mr. Bartlett pointed out. This is in large part because there's an existing structure on parcel 108, which will remain, and there's accessory shed in the garage, which will also remain. That adds about 2,000 square feet on top of the 118,000 square feet reflected currently in the staff report. So we just wanted to make that clarification. The companion special exception case, which you'll hear later, also picks up on that discrepancy and modifies it. I would also note that the facility will also have a 5,989 square foot basement. And as defined in the prior zoning ordinance, which this application is being processed under, including the prior subdivision regulations, a basement does not count towards gross floor area. It's used exclusively for storage. So that basement level will be underneath the expansion area, which will include the rooms proposed in this application. So thank you for that bit of housekeeping. I just wanted to make that clear on the record, what we were requesting specifically. And I do agree with Mr. Bartlett that this correction in square footage will make no difference to the adequacy findings as represented in the staff report and the ADQ approved for this case. With that, we greatly appreciate your review and consideration of this application. We believe it meets all the standards and regulations and requirements for approval of a preliminary plan of subdivision. We respectfully request your support for the findings of staff and for the recommended conditions of approval. Our team is here to answer any questions that you may have, and we thank you for your favorable consideration of this request.
Thank you, Mr. Antonetti. Colleagues, any questions for the applicant? Seeing none, I have no one who's signed up to speak on this in the audience. I will close the public hearing. And colleagues, what is your pleasure on this item?
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt the findings of staff with corrections to reflect the applicant's exhibit number 1 and approve preliminary plan of subdivision 4-24012 for subdivision Sterling Care Hillhaven and type 1 tree conservation plan TCPPL 005-2025, subject to the conditions outlined on the staff report, on the technical staff report.
Oh, sorry.
Motion by, you got it. We got a motion by Commissioner Giraldo, a second by Vice Chair Bailey. With no discussion, I will call the roll. Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Bailey.
Vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 3-0. Thank you, Mr. Antonetti. Thank you, Mrs. Bartlett. Move on to item 7 on our agenda. This is a DSP 23018 Royal USA Tours, detailed site plan. Mr. Hijazi is representing the applicant. Mr. Huang will be giving a staff presentation. This is also an evidentiary hearing. We may have some folks who have signed up to speak. I believe we have Mr. Parsons is working with us, but we'll turn to staff for the staff presentation. Mr. Huang.
Morning, Mr. Chair. I'm a member of the planning board. For the record, my name is Emery Huang with Urban Design Sections. Number item 7 is detailed site plan DSP-23018 for Royal US Tours. This detailed site plan is for the development of a 12,795 square foot bus maintenance and operation facility and the associated site improvements. As a matter of housekeeping, staff received the one exhibit from the applicants prior to the Tuesday noon deadline, which is titled Applicants Exhibit 1. Page 1 of the exhibit outlines revised conditions proposed by the applicants, which improve the clarity and that this revision will not change the intent of condition 1.8 and condition 1.2. Staff are in agreement with these revisions. Page 2 of the exhibit, including 2 sections showing the height of the fence and the retaining wall along the northern and eastern property lines for the record to address condition 1E, and the staff find this section acceptable. Based on the finding presented in the technical staff report, urban design staff recommended that planning board adopt the finding of this report and approve the detailed site plan DSP-23018 for Royal US Tours, subject to the recommended condition of the approval within the technical staff report and the revision proposed by the applicants and agreed upon by the staff in the applicant's exhibit 1. This concludes the staff presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Fung. Any questions for staff at this point? No questions. We'll turn to the applicant, Mr. Hijazi.
Good morning, Chair and members of the Planning Board. Abdullah Hijazi here today with Mr. Eddie Diaz-Campbell, our senior land planner from the law firm of Hijazi and Carroll in Bowie, Maryland.
There we go. There's the interface.
So we are very happy to report that.
No, he's hanging out with a bunch of planners back there, right?
It's safe and seasons. I'm very happy to report that I actually worked on this case as a law clerk back 17 years ago under my former boss, Ms. Laraka. And it was approved previously for detailed site plan. And Mr. Osamahi, the owner of Royal USA Tours, had a lot of struggles at that time, never built it, it expired, and came back many years later. And we've, or at this point, we're close to approval of another DSP. So I'm happy to be bringing this project back to life. This is, as you heard from staff, it is a 12,795 square foot bus maintenance facility and operation facility. It's located within the Walker Mill Business Park. As indicated earlier, it was approved for a detailed site plan about 17 years ago and is being resubmitted again today. We are in agreement with staff's recommended conditions for approval, and I appreciate staff including our Exhibit 1, which is applicant Exhibit 1, that has our requested revisions to the conditions of approval. The requested conditions are the requested revisions are very minor to the conditions. One of them relates to making sure that the elevation and the proposed building site plan are consistent. And the other one simply says that the SWIP analysis should be approved by MDE rather than DPI or any other applicable agency as it may be at the time of the SWIP analysis review. And we'd like to thank Mr. Wong for his very hard work on this and helping us get this to approval, and are available for any questions for us or for Mr. El-Samahi, who's here with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Hijazi. Appreciate it. Any questions for the applicant? Mr. El-Samahi, do you want to come forward? There's no need to unless you want, unless there's something you want to do. Yes. All right. Thank you. All right. There's no one else who signed up to speak on this. Colleagues, if there's no other questions for staff or the applicant, then I will close this public hearing. And what is your pleasure on this item?
Mr. Chair, after consideration of the technical staff report, I move adoption of DSP 23018 along with the associated findings, as well as the conditions of staff as modified by applicant's exhibit number 1.
Second.
We've got a motion by Commissioner Giraldo, a second by Vice Chair Bailey. Any discussion? Seeing none, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Bailey.
Vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 3-0. Thank you, Mr. Hijazi. Mr. Diaz-Campbell, thank you. Mr. Huang, thank you as well. And we'll move on to the next item. And Mr. El-Samahi as well, thank you. Moving on to item 8 on our agenda. This is a preliminary plan of subdivision 4-25005 Walker Mill Warehouse. Also an evidentiary hearing. We have Mr. Haller, who's representing the applicant. We have Ellen Shadle. It's going to be giving a staff presentation. I don't think we have any from the public signed up to speak beyond members of the applicant's team. If so, we'll swear them in at the appropriate time, and we will start with staff presentation.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the board. For the record, my name is Ellen Shadle from the zoning section, and I am presenting this case on behalf of the subdivision section. The item in front of you is preliminary plan for subdivision 4-25005 Walker Mill Warehouse, which proposes one parcel for 79,990 square feet of industrial development. The application is further subject to an approved certificate of adequacy under case number ADQ-2025-008. Staff did not receive any citizens' correspondence or exhibits prior to the noon deadline on June 24th, 2025. Staff recommends that the planning board adopt the findings of the technical staff report and approve preliminary plan for subdivision 4-25005, type 1 tree conservation plan, TCP 1-007-2025, and a variation from section 24-121A3 of the prior subdivision regulations for direct access to an arterial road, subject to the conditions recommended in the technical staff report. This concludes staff presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shadle. Ms. Shadle, is this your first time before us?
Yes.
Welcome. Nice job.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no questions for staff, we'll turn to the applicant, Mr. Haller. Anything you want to add on this case?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Besides kind words about our new Ms. Shadle.
I was just going to start with it. I wanted to thank her and for her.
The record.
This record, Thomas Haller on behalf of the applicant, attorney with offices here in Largo. And no, I do appreciate her stepping in and giving a hand at subdivision session. You guys have had quite a few applications filed, as you know. And so we appreciate her hard work in putting this together. And in fact, it is such a well-written staff report. We have no proposed changes to the conditions whatsoever. I do want to note for the record that the representative of the applicant is here. Ms. Sarah Grant is here, as well as our traffic consultant, Mr. Mike Lenhart. And on the line, we have Mr. Scott Wolford, who is with Collier's Engineering. I do want to just note, because although the staff report is extremely thorough, there's one little tidbit that I thought the board may be interested in. This property is in the same Walker Mill Business Park as the prior case you just heard, and it's at the intersection of Addison Road and Walker Mill Road. And I just wanted the board to be aware there is currently a capital improvement project that is ongoing to improve that intersection and to allow for it to function more appropriately. And we are currently working with DPI to extend those CIP improvements further up Walker Mill Road, which will further enhance the movement of traffic in that area. So the timing of this project works out well with the CIP improvements and will allow for this for the entire area to function more smoothly. So I just wanted to add that to the record today, and happy to answer any questions that you have.
Mr. Howell, thank you. Any questions?
I have none. No, thank you, Mr. Howell.
Okay. No more questions from staff. We have no one else who signed up to speak. I'll close the public hearing and look for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt findings of staff for 4-25005 for the preliminary plan of subdivision, approval of the type 1 tree conservation plan, TCP 1-007-2025, as well as approval of the variation from section 24-121A3, along with the associated conditions and staff report.
Second.
We've got a motion by Commissioner Giraldo, a second by Vice Chair Bailey. With no discussion, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Bailey.
Vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it. 3-0. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Move on to item 9 on our agenda. This is a detailed site plan DSP 1603 Forestville Center. This item was continued for May 8th. Mr. Hijazi is representing the applicant. Ms. Sun is going to be giving the staff presentation. This is an evidentiary hearing. We'll see if we need to swear anybody in, and we'll start with staff. Ms. Sun.
Right. Good morning, Mr. Chair, Madam Vice Chair, and members of the Planning Board. For the record, I'm Meng Sun with the Urban Design section. Item number 9 is continued from the Planning Board hearing date of May 8th, 2025 to June 26th, 2025. This case is the detailed site plan DSP-16039 for Forestville Center for development of an 8,674 square foot commercial shopping center. The application has a companion alternative compliance application AC-21014, which is requested from the requirements of the 2010 Prince George County Landscape Manual for Section 4.7 buffering incompatible uses regarding the buffer width of the landscape yard for a portion of the northern property line shared with a single-family detached house on lots 13 and 14. Staff proposed to add a sentence to condition 1D so that the condition reads as follows. Conform the zoning of the property in accordance with zoning map amendment A-9961C and the official zoning map. Adjust notes and calculation accordingly. Based on evaluation and analysis outlined in the staff technical report, Urban Design staff recommend that the Planning Board adopt the findings of this report and approve detailed site plan DSP-16039, alternative compliance AC-21014, Type 2 Tree Conservation Plan TCP2-004-2025, and the variance to Section 25-122B1G for Forestville Center, subject to the recommended conditions of approval within the technical staff report. This concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. Any questions for staff? No questions. We'll turn to the applicant, Mr. Hijazi and Mr. Diaz-Campbell and others.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chair.
You have to harass a little bit, but keep going, right?
Abdullah Hijazi here with our senior land planner, Mr. Eddie Diaz-Campbell from the firm of Hijazi and Carroll in Bowie, Maryland. Here with us today is also Mr. Sajid Chowdhury, the representative of the owner and applicant for this Forestville Center property. And I believe online we have members of the design team of Applied Civil Engineering. We again thank Mrs. Sun for her assistance with bringing this DSP alternative compliance and TCP to fruition. This is a very tight site, and it took a lot of back and forth until we were able to reach agreement and conformance with staff's requests and code requirements. For that reason, I mean, we truly thank her for her assistance, and we are in full agreement with staff's approval, conditions of approval, and welcome any questions.
Any questions for the applicant? No questions. We don't have anyone else who sounded to speak unless you have anybody you want to bring forward. So with that, I will close the public hearing. And colleagues, what's your pleasure on this item?
Mr. Chair, after review of the staff report, listening to the staff person, Ms. Sun, I would move that we adopt the findings of staff of DSP 16039, approval of the alternative compliance AC 21014, approval of Type 2 Tree Conservation Plan TCP 2-004-2025, and approval of variance to Section 25-122B1G, along with the associated conditions as modified and read into the record to condition 1D.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Giraldo, a second by Vice Chair Bailey. With no discussion, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Bailey.
Vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 3-0. Thank you, Mr. Hijazi. Thank you, Ms. Sun. Move on to item 10 on our agenda. This is a preliminary plan of subdivision 4-24033, Mount Herman Lodge. Also an evidentiary hearing, Mr. Tedesco is representing the applicant. Mr. Bartlett will be giving a staff presentation. I believe we have a few folks who signed up to speak, and I will swear them in at the appropriate time. And we will start with the staff presentation. Mr. Bartlett. Oh, we have a preliminary matter. I'm sorry, are there any preliminary matters? And I believe there are.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Matthew Tedesco with the law firm of McNamee here on behalf of the applicant and property owner Mount Hermon Lodge Preservation Project LLC. We do have one preliminary matter, and sometimes as the land use and zoning attorney for these projects, I have to reserve the record and make sure that we're doing things that we need to do and not always get to gratuitously stand up here and thank everybody for a job well done, although I will do that in a moment. As part of your backup at pages, I think it's 4 through 7 of your additional backup, there were some emails that were provided, some citizen emails with a petition that was signed. And I think your additional backup pages 4 through 7, if I'm not mistaken, is a petition that was circulated. Just for preservation of the record, as well as this being an evidentiary hearing and your rules of procedure 6.4C, as well as other legal standards related to plebiscite, we would respectfully request that the petition itself, again, pages 4 through 7 in your additional backup, be struck from the record for the reasons primarily because this being an evidentiary hearing, all witnesses and testimony must be sworn. Certainly that testimony is not sworn. Your rules of procedure require that, as well as the legal standards with respect to your decision-making here today based upon reliable evidence, as well as probative evidence related to the case at hand and not prospective cases we would ask, and also not being ruled upon by plebiscite. We would just kindly ask that those pages be struck, understanding, however, the emails and the position of some of the residents concerned about parking and other related items not subject to this application here this morning are still known by the applicant, and we look forward to working through those issues with future applications. But for today, we would kindly ask that those pages be struck. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tedesco. Colleagues, I'm of a little bit two minds around this. I'm curious to see where you are all too. I don't disagree with the argument at all. We don't do zoning by plebiscite. None of the folks who signed on this petition are under oath. They're not sworn in. I'm inclined to allow it in the record, but not allow it as sworn testimony and not allow it as zoning by plebiscite. But it's just, it's an attachment to something that somebody sent in. But I don't have a strong feeling about that. I like to sort of respect the organizing work that's being done. But it doesn't bring content to us. It's not appropriate for it to bring content to us for us to consider. And I don't know where you are, Mr. Giraldo or Ms. Bailey.
I don't see how it helps us at all in our decision-making since it's not under oath and the individuals are not here subject to cross-examination by the applicant. So I think it should not be put in the record and muddle it up.
Okay, Ms. Bailey, Vice Chair Bailey, do you have an opinion on it? I don't disagree with Commissioner Giraldo, actually. But Ms. Bailey, where are you on this? Did we lose her again?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Did you hear the discussion we were having?
I did, and I was talking as well. I was on mute and didn't realize it. But I support your position and don't think it should be considered.
Okay. All right, I'll follow the lead of you all, and I don't disagree with the argument. So then we would need a motion to strike it from the record, or how do we handle it?
There is a motion on the floor by the applicant's attorney.
Sure.
And hold on one second here. Let me make sure I get our rules right. Bear with me one moment. I apologize.
Time.
Mr. Tedesco, was that a motion to strike you made?
We have to do it.
If I need to, so moved.
Yeah, so I'll sustain the objection and we'll have this stricken from the record. And if there's a slight procedural change that we need to make based upon that, I think the intent is clear of what we're looking to do. So, okay, good enough? Okay, all right.
Great.
Thank you all. So now we'll continue on. If there's no other preliminary matters, I will continue on with item 10 on our agenda. This is preliminary plan subdivision 424033, Mount Herman Lodge. Again, Mr. Tedesco is representing the applicant, Mr. Bartlett with the staff presentation. A few folks signed up to speak, and we'll start with Mr. Bartlett. Take it away.
Morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. For the record, I am Jason Bartlett with the subdivision section. Item number 10 on the agenda is a preliminary plan of subdivision for Mount Herman Lodge, case number 4-24033, which proposes 2 parcels for mixed-use development of 13 residential units and 1,700 square feet of commercial use. This application is further subject to an approved certificate of adequacy under case number ADQ-2024-065. Before I begin, as a matter of housekeeping, 2 items of additional material were submitted prior to the noon deadline on June 24th. The additional material is entered into the record as Opponent Exhibit 1 and Opponent Exhibit 2, which will be discussed further in this presentation. Turning to the presentation, the first slide being displayed is the aerial image of the proposed subdivision outlined in blue. The subject property is bound by Gallatin Street to the north.
Hold on 1 second. I just want to make sure that the record is, we're attributing things correctly. Were you referencing something that we just struck from the record?
He was not actually. So what you struck was pages 4 through 7 of Opponent's Exhibit 1, which was the appended petition. There's also an initial email that is the sworn testimony.
Okay, good. Just wanted to check. Thank you, Mr. Bartlett. Keep going.
No worries. Again, turning to the presentation, the first slide being displayed is an aerial image of the proposed subdivision outlined in blue. Subject property is bound by Gallatin Street to the north and Farragut Street to the south. It is separated by a recorded public alley, and the entire site is bound to the east by 43rd Avenue. This slide also shows that the property is currently developed with the historic Masonic Lodge on the northern parcel and includes its parking being provided on the southern parcel. The lodge itself and the northern parcel is a registered historic site, though its southern parcel and parking lot is not. Next slide, please. The general location map shows the site is generally located in the northwest part of Prince George's County within Planning Area 68 and Council District 2. Next slide, please. The site vicinity map shows a property outlined in purple, has relatively flat topography, sloping slightly from north to south. Next slide, please. The zoning map shows the property is split zone with the northern parcel lying in the Neighborhood Activity Center or NAC zone, and the southern parcel lying in the residential single family 65 or RS 65 zone. The current zoning notwithstanding, this application was submitted for review under the prior zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations, and therefore this application was reviewed according to the standards of the prior commercial shopping center or CSC zone, which a northern parcel was located in prior to April 1st of 2022, and the prior one family detached residential or R55 zone that the southern parcel was located in prior to April 1st of 2022. Next slide, please. The overlay map shows the property is not within an overlay zone under the current zoning ordinance. However, in accordance with the prior zoning, the property is located within the Development District Overlay or DDO zone for the Gateway Arts District Sector Plan. Next slide, please. The municipal boundary map shows the site lies entirely within the municipal limits of the city of Hyattsville. Next slide, please. This slide shows there are no master plan rights of way abutting the subject property, though US 1 Baltimore Avenue lies further to the east. Next slide, please. This slide shows a preliminary plan with the proposed parcels outlined in red. The northern parcel containing the existing historic Masonic Lodge is parcel 1, and the southern parcel providing the existing parking for the lodge is parcel 2. The existing structure and the existing structures are proposed to remain for the first phase of the development. The specific residential use and any proposed structures for the second phase of the proposed development will be evaluated with future site plan application. The existing rights of way are highlighted in blue and the public alley is shown in light blue. There is no road dedication required with this application. The existing vehicular access points to the site are proposed to remain for the first phase of development, and pedestrian circulation is provided via sidewalks surrounding the site on the north, south, and east sides of the site. In addressing opponents' exhibits 1 and 2, both generally raise concerns centered around the undefined residential use the applicant is proposing for phase 2. Opponents assert that parcel 2 is being subdivided into 5 lots for townhouse development with this application, or that townhouses are being approved with this application. They further assert that the townhouses would not conform to the sector plan. Staff would like to clarify that all that is before the board at this public hearing is a 2-parcel subdivision for residential use. The applicant has not proposed a specific residential use for phase 2 with this PPS application, nor can a PPS approve a specific use as noted on page 6 of the technical staff report. However, staff find that general residential use on parcel 2 conforms to the sector plan. Opponents also note that townhouses are currently not permitted according to parcel 2 zoning. If the applicant wishes to pursue townhouses, the applicant may request that the district council amend the use table to allow townhouses at the time of detailed site plan. Approval of this PPS does not have any bearing on whether such a request would be approved. Opponents also note that they oppose any building entrances leading to King Park, which abuts the property. Building features are not a subject of the preliminary plan, but will be evaluated at the time of building permit. Finally, opponents allege that implementation of phase 2 will result in a lack of parking for both the phase 2 and phase 1 development. The provision of adequate parking is a zoning consideration, which will be evaluated at the time of DSP or permit for phase 2. The development standards contains options for off-site parking, which will also be evaluated at that time. Staff is very sensitive to the concerns of the citizens and want to emphasize that we are not simply kicking the can down the road at this juncture. Rather, we are not able to consider parking and specific building types at the preliminary plan phase of the entitlement process, but must do so later at the time of DSP or permit under a zoning entitlement application. At that time, the applicant will have to show that the proposed use for phase 2 is or should be allowed, and that the parking and other zoning standards can be met, including meeting the development district standards imposed by the Gateway Arts Development District Overlay Zone. Next slide, please. In conclusion, subdivision staff recommend the planning board adopt the findings and approve PPS 4-24033 Mount Herman Lodge, subject to the conditions contained in the technical staff report. This concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Bartlett. Colleagues, any questions for staff at this point? Okay. And thank you for the clarity. Mr. Tedesco, please, thank you for the clarity around the concerns from the folks in the public. And like you, we certainly value and appreciate all the concerns that folks have, but there's a appropriate time and a place for those, and that's so. Given that, if we do have folks from the public who are going to be speaking,
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Madam Vice Chair.
I've lost you.
Oh, gosh.
Well, we hear you.
We hear you. Can they?
I could not, I'm in a strange area, so I'm continuing to lose you.
Can you hear us now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. What I was saying, Madam Vice Chair, was that Commissioner Giraldo and I assume you do too, agree with staff that parking and building types are not pertinent. So even though we don't have folks in the community who may be speaking on those issues, that's not what's actually before us. So it's fairly, thank you. So I'll provide a little bit of latitude, but I just want to be clear that those are not the issues that are before us. And so, Mr. Tedesco, don't, setting that aside, anything that you want to add to what Mr. Bartlett has said.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Again, for the record, Matthew Tedesco, the law firm of McNamee, Hosey and Greenbelt, here on behalf of Mount Herman Lodge Preservation Project, LLC. With us this morning in person on behalf of the owner applicant, Mount Herman Lodge Preservation Project, LLC, is Ms. Kaylee Culp. We also have Mark Thomas from CV Incorporated, who are the civil engineers for the project, and from Lenhart Traffic and Consulting, Mike Lenhart, who I think the board is familiar with. First and foremost, as I think you guys have heard many, many times, I want to thank Mr. Bartlett and the subdivision staff. Certainly with the April 1st filing deadlines, I think the subdivision section got hit the hardest with those filings, and up until recently had been really just a...
I think he had a full head of hair before.
I think he did. Went from his head to his face. But certainly on a more or less a two-man, really three-man crew. And so all these cases now are coming to you all this summer. And so it's one thing to get cases accepted. It's certainly another thing to get them reviewed and to you all with staff reports. And so I just want to publicly thank Jason. I want to publicly thank Madrula, and although not on this case, Masa, and certainly Ms. Connor for their leadership and their abilities to kind of do the what I think many of us thought would be impossible by getting these cases to hearings on time. So thank you first and foremost for that. Secondly, for the record, I would align myself with Mr. Bartlett's comments this morning, as well as the staff report with respect to the gravamen of this application and what is actually before you as a preliminary plan of subdivision, and more importantly, what's not. We spent a lot of time with the city of Hyattsville, and Ms. Culp has spent a lot of time with many residents trying to explain the process. And I know the process can be somewhat complicated and confusing, certainly even to Ms. Culp, who has experience with development in the county. But I do just want to, so I don't forget, align myself with Mr. Bartlett's comments with respect to what is the subject matter of this application. Turning to the applicant, and particularly Ms. Culp, oftentimes, not regularly, but sometimes we get the opportunity to actually represent applicants who have a more than just a vested stake in the project being the applicant or the property owner, but actually living in the community in which they seek to develop. And I am honored to be before you to represent Ms. Culp in that capacity, who lives in the city of Hyattsville with her husband and family. She's a Ward 1 resident of over 15 years. Just not too far from this property is where she calls home. And so the impacts associated with this development are not just felt from an out-of-town developer or somebody who came into Prince George's County to buy land and to turn a profit, as sometimes the development community is accused of. But Ms. Culp actually puts her money where her mouth is with respect to investing in her own community and seeking to better it. And this project is really no exception. She's got deep roots in the Gateway Arts District, and she's been involved in various historic properties along the Route 1 corridor. When this property came up for sale, Ms. Culp stepped in, not to demolish the building, but to preserve it. She made two commitments to the lodge's leadership. First, to protect the structure through historic designation, which I stand before you and happy to report that has been done. That was done at her insistence and working with your historic preservation staff. And you all may recall the joint public hearing back in July of 2024 between you all and the district council, which designated this property as a historic building on the register. The other was to preserve and display the lodge's artifacts within the new commercial space and to honor its legacy. This preliminary plan proposes a thoughtful phased development. The first phase, as explained in your staff report and by staff this morning, is to adapt the historic structure into a mixed-use multifamily and commercial retail building. Second phase envisions additional residential uses on the existing surface parking lot. However, and as your staff report clearly indicate, this approval, what we hope to be approval here today, does not then give us the opportunity to then go pursue the phase two. We would have to come back before you, depending on what the ultimate use of that property is from a residential perspective, and either demonstrate conformance to the applicable sector plan DDO standards at the time of permitting, or if there's an issue with the use that's been referenced in some of the opposition emails, we have to come back before you vis-a-vis a detailed site plan. The prior zoning ordinance, as you all are familiar with, provides greater flexibility in development district overlay zones. And that was purposeful. And I know, Mr. Chairman, of all the DDOs and the sector plans, you are most familiar with the Arts District sector plan because you were influential in bringing that to fruition many, many years ago. And you should be applauded for that. And so, you know, as we all know, that the DDOs were envisioned to provide flexibility. And some of that flexibility includes allowing modifications to the table of uses, allowing modifications to development standards. This is not a one-size-fits-all scenario. However, and again, that's not the matter before us today. We will have an opportunity, if that's what we choose to pursue, to bring that case before you and to continue to work with the citizens, to continue to work with the city to resolve and or mitigate or obviate some of the concerns that we've heard throughout this process related to parking. However, for what it's worth, and you'll hear it at that time in the future, the sector plan speaks in great detail about flexibility when it comes to parking. So we'll put a pin in that just for the time being, but I did want to just offer that because we don't feel like we're that far askew, notwithstanding some of the ire of some residents, not all residents. Turning back to this preliminary plan, as your staff report and all the referrals indicate, there are substantial evidence to show that it is consistent with the sector plan's goals, policies, and guidelines. It provides new housing opportunities in a walkable, transit accessible area. And the applicant hosted a well-attended open house held in the lodge's ballroom just a couple of months ago, where many neighbors expressed excitement and support for the building's reactivation. Specifically, this preliminary plan supports mixed-use infill development and contributes to the vibrancy of the town center character area. The applicant is sensitive to the neighborhood concerns about traffic and parking and safety. As a local resident and parent, the applicant, Ms. Culp, shares those concerns and is committed to ensuring impacts are mitigated, both in this phase and in any future phases. This is a preservation forward project that meets all applicable subdivision and planning standards. The applicant is a local resident and calls Ward 1 home and is very concerned and sensitive to the issues at hand. And we continue to the opportunities. If some of the citizens who are opposed to this would grant us the opportunity to continue to meet with them, we would certainly welcome that opportunity. We did meet with the city of Hyattsville, I believe it was May 19th. My notes are a little scattered because we kind of went out of order with the preliminary matter, but I believe it was May 19th, we met with the city of Hyattsville. Ultimately, the city of Hyattsville unanimously recommended support of this preliminary plan of subdivision. They did make or suggested recommendations. I think staff's analysis in the staff report goes through each of those, and the ones that were applicable to this preliminary plan have been carried forward. and your staff report. We have no applicant exhibit with reference to any proposed changes of findings or changes of recommended conditions. We agree with staff's recommended findings. We also agree with staff's recommended conditions of approval. And with that, Mr. Chairman, we are obviously happy to answer any questions, but we are certainly hopeful that the board will support this very innovative, adaptive reuse of a historic resource, at the hands of the applicant, and your support and the district council support to designate it as such. So with that, Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for your indulgence. Thank you for your ruling on our objection at the outset of this case, and thanks staff again for its analysis and review. We are in agreement with staff's recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Francisco. Colleagues, there's no questions for the applicant at this time. I'll turn to my speakers list. Just want to check to see who's here. Ms. Perna, I see you online. I assume you'll want to speak. And Ms. Weisgood, are you still there? And do you want to be speaking on this? Okay, so Ms. Perner, it's just you. If you could raise your right hand, please, so I can swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? You're on mute. You got to take yourself on mute.
I do.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Perner. And I hope I pronounced your name right. The floor is yours. I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock. I'll be a little flexible around that, but that'll help us manage the time. And if you could state your name and address for the record.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the board. I appreciate this time this morning. My name is Carla Perner, and I am a resident of Hyattsville. I live at 4201 Gallatin Street, so truly just steps away from the lodge itself. I've lived in Hyattsville for 4 years. I'm actually very excited for what is coming to the Masonic Lodge. So I won't need the full 3 minutes just because my opposition comes to phase 2, and I know that's not what that's about today. So I am here to support the changes coming to the Masonic Lodge and the community support, and the fact that Mrs. Kelp lives in the area and is here to keep everything historic and taking that time. So yeah, I signed up before I knew that this was just about phase 1. So I will hold my comments for phase 2 when the time comes. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And I appreciate your flexibility on this, appreciate your activism and your, it's a complicated process. So, we all learn as we go along. So thanks for diving in. And I will say, make sure, we've already heard this from the applicant, make sure you're in regular communication with them about that, and it can lead to a better product. Okay.
Perfect.
Good.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you. If there's no questions for Ms. Perner,
Just for the record, to correct maybe a misconception in Ms. Kerner's testimony just briefly. It's not that, so phase 2, just general residential use for a lot is before the board. What's not before the board is the actual physical development that may occur, just to make sure that.
No, thank you.
We're not providing them with misconceptions.
No, that's very helpful. I appreciate that. It's okay. So that's a distinction that we've heard from council. So colleagues, any other questions for the applicant or staff? If not, there's no one else that's signed up to speak. I'll close the public hearing. And if there's no deliberation, what is your pleasure on this item?
Mr. Chair, based on the technical staff report and the presentation by Mr. Bartlett, subject to the recommended conditions in the technical staff report, as well as adoption of the findings, I move that we approve Mount Hermon Lodge preliminary plan of subdivision 4-24033.
Vice Chair Bailey, are you there? Great. And Vice Chair Bailey, I just want to make sure that you, yes, ma'am, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that you were able to hear the testimony, because I know we heard had some technical issues. You heard you heard the case, right?
I did hear the case. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Tallarico, is the motion okay?
Motion seems good.
All right. With that, if there's no further discussion, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Giraldo.
I vote aye.
Vice Chair Bailey.
Vote aye.
I vote aye as well. The ayes have it 3-0. Before we adjourn, because Ms. Connor, I assume there's no further business for us.
No further business.
All right, but before we adjourn, we are joined by Miss Osei. And she was not here before.
She is now.
And we had all sorts of nice things to say about her. And I want to see if she can come forward. You can listen on the record, all the wonderful things we said about you and your 35 years of committed service. But I wanted to give you just a minute or two before the microphone so we can hear your voice and thank you properly. So it's been an absolute pleasure. But please, if you have some words you want to share with us, please do.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's been a pleasure growing up in this department and living and working in this great county to serve the residents of this county as somebody who lives and somebody who works here. And it just has grown me up. I walked into this organization with 2 young children. They have grown and moved on to contribute to the workforce in this country. And in this county, one of them works for Park and Planning.
Oh, wonderful.
And so I'm very appreciative for the work that I have been able, given the privilege to serve, to work, and to brief each one of you on what I know best on each project that has been assigned to me. No matter how small it was or how big it was, I made sure you have all the information that you need to make the best decision for the residents of the county. So I am very appreciative for your recognition. Allow me to come back down because I came into the room 2 minutes late. So I really appreciate for giving me the grace to come back to say, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Commissioner Gerudo. Ms. Bailey, I've known her for such a long time as a council member, and now my commissioner and vice chair for a very long time. We've done a lot of things, talk off and off the record, but I'm really very thankful. And for the staff of this great organization that I work with, 20 years at community planning where I started, working on master plans, sector plans, enjoying every bit of it because I'm able to engage with the residents of this county, property owners, elected officials, and to share exactly what the planning vision is. And then to end up at countywide planning with a great distinctive woman, Katina Shola, my division chief. I've had 6 division chiefs, 6 supervisors, and 3 planning board chairs for my time of working here. So every state of the change has grown me up one way or the other to appreciate whoever is in the table to rule, to govern, and to give direction. So I come to just say, thank you so much. Thank you to the staff. Thank you to you who really keep this going and to make sure the county is moving forward in the objective of meeting the needs of this great county. So I just came to say thank you so much for bringing me back. So at least say something. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bolser.
Terrific.
I hope you are proud of your legacy, and thank you very much. All right, folks, without objection, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody, for your time.